Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day, and I think we're ready to wrap up. Before you do search for that love, which is the last 80%, because as we spoke about a few weeks ago, the first 20% is to accept yourself. The next 20% is to connect. The next 20 is to like and then to love. Now we have 80%. And now you could search for love, because then that love is not codependent love that you suddenly, when your spouse walks out, you start calling them every 5 minutes. At that time, in this stage in one's life, when they actually have the first 4 levels, they will not stifle their spouse with what they call love and I call insecurity or codependence, that they can't breathe without them. You know, before you go find your true love, which as mentioned before, that's the last part, you have the absolute power to first accept yourself, which there's a lot of resistance and a lot of reasons why we don't accept ourselves, and then to connect themselves, and then to like themselves, and then to love themselves. And only then can we find true love. But till then, you are going to be the fake waiter that will do a beautiful job. You'll know what to talk, you'll know what to say, and you'll have the anxiety at the same time while you do it. And the only reason why you have anxiety, because you know you're faking it. People that are comfortable in their skin, people that have connected to themselves and accepted themselves and like themselves, even if they don't love themselves, they're okay in every situation. There's nothing to be worried, to be you. It's actually to be glorified. It's actually to be comfortable, because they never have to compare themselves to anyone besides for themselves. But that's not the way we're trained. We're trained. I'll tell you, it's not our fault. We were trained to be crooked. And only then could you find true love. And that's the answer why 50% of marriages don't work out. And from the other 50% that is perceived that don't work, that they do work out because they're not divorced, I would say at least 40 or maybe 49% are totally not working out. I'm not talking about a disagreement. I'm not talking about an argument. I'm talking about way more than that. I have seen too much over too many decades going on. But it's so beautiful now that I could understand the science and understand that people are intrinsically good. And everyone wants the good. But as children, we were shut down. We were trained to be disconnected. And we were trained not to connect to self, like and love. And therefore, if we don't have the cake, there's no way we could have a cake by someone's icing. Icing is just icing. External love from a lover is just the icing. But the cake needs to be done from ourselves, which is the first 80%. And maybe I will. It's going to be a long one. I will. You guys tell me if you want it. You guys tell me if you want it. Make a series of what it means to connect, to accept, connect, like, and love. And at that time, I will as well explain, which I won't have the time now, is that if we would have been healthy, we wouldn't have to accept and connect and like and love, because when we're born, we do accept ourselves, all of ourselves. We are connected to ourselves, we like ourselves, and we love ourselves a lot. I will at that time, if we're going to go ahead with a series, I will actually show you the science, how by age about 1.5, the poisonous, horrendous process of destroying human beings by their own parents unwillingly, because it's not our parents are bad. They are just copying everything their parents did. They are all programmed. We are all programmed, and the program goes from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. And therefore, today's generation, when people come to life coaches and to therapists, I take off my hat for them and I applaud them. For after hundreds, if not thousands of years, they're willing to take a stand and stop this horrendous emotional virus that destroys generations upon generations with anxiety, depression, even suicide, and people so lonely and so happy and so addicted to people that are alive and loving life to its fullest, being in nature, living the most awesome life in the world. Thanks for joining, and have yourself a wonderful and delightful day. Thanks for listening, and more importantly, always do remember that you are way greater than you think you are.